Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancius. Just wanted to let you know that today's episode is a session that I did with a client named Sharyn. I know that you're going to absolutely love this episode, and Spirit says to let you know that any messages that I give to Sharyn today that you feel are for you as well, know that they are. Your spirit team is saying that right now. So take those and receive those messages into your heart today. Friends, if you want to book a session with me, the only way to do that is on my website, theangelmedium.com, where you can sign up for my wait list or a session with one of the healers on my team. Friends, I love you so much. Here is today's episode. Okay. So, is your dad on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he was one of the first to come forward, but mom is still here, correct? Okay. But are both grandmas on the other side? Because they're like lining up right behind him. And both grandfathers as well. Just know that all of your grandparents are right there. They make me feel like we really need to bring through some clarity today, because there's some points at which you kind of been like, do I go this way? Do I go this way? And one of the kind of tricks that your particular egoic mind uses is kind of like an indecision. Do you see that within your life sometimes? Like, we just don't want to get it wrong. And so we just kind of maybe stretch out the process of making the decision. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So your angels say you're not bad for that whatsoever. It's
Mhm.
just that they want you to leave with the clarity today, because they started by saying you're doing a great job. Right? You are known in heaven. You are doing amazing work here. And they want you to feel pride within your heart chakra, because they said that you have always listened to your heart, always followed your heart, always followed your intuition. And they said, it might be a slow process of evolving here for all of us. But they said you're right on track.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, before we dive into that, Dad's been taking me into his passing. Can you talk to me about how he passed, and were you there?
Yep.
Okay,
I was in the house. So my dad had Lewy body dementia.
okay.
And so he passed on his birthday, which he said he always wanted to do.
That's wild.
Yep. And so the last 10 days of his life, I was there. He barely opened his eyes at that point. He had, with Lewy body, he'd fallen a lot. And so he had fallen and he never really recovered. So we brought him home for care. We weren't sure how long. And I was up there the last 10 days with him. And I could feel when I would hold his hand. I remember one time I was holding his hand and I felt like I could understand his whole life, like all the good and all the bad, and it was all okay.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just at such peace.
Mm-hmm.
And holding his hand. And with Lewy body, it started taking over his mind. So I didn't have access to him like I used to, because he was my hotline, my go-to guy,
Yes.
and we both love to talk.
Yeah.
So, and deep conversation. So and then one day, about 6 months before he passed, I said, you know what, why don't I just write him letters? And I never actually did, but I would write them in my heart and my mind. And I started to get a sense that he was talking back to me then. And I'm really glad I did that, because then when he passed, my mom was laying next to him, and he had passed about 6 a.m, and I'd laid with him till about 12:30, and I went upstairs in their bed to sleep. And after he passed, I just wanted to go be alone for a minute. And I was playing this beautiful song that my pastor gave me, and I just wanted to hug him so much. And then through the window, I had my eyes closed, but the window was like up on a hill and the light was there. And I just felt something come in the room. And then I felt like being held, but I felt like he wasn't alone. And I was like, that has to be Dad, because before he passed, he had this beautiful smell on him. And I could smell it all around me while I was being held. And then I felt it leave. And that I hold on to so much.
That's incredible. I mean, and what you were talking about when you said, like, you could almost hold his life, right? And feel into the good, the bad, the ugly, and it was all okay. Like there was just peace there. There was just ease there. He said, what you felt is what I talk about when I say you can hold your life plan. Your life plan truly isn't like a book, even though our minds think of it that way. It's an energy, it's almost like an orb itself. And you can hold it and feel the past, present, and the future all together in one, and just feel the oneness within it all, because oneness is our soul's energy. Okay. Do you have this sister?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he wants to talk about the sister, but he wants to stay on track here because this ties into the other question that I was talking about earlier. The angel said that career-wise, you're toying with a couple of different things. I feel like you've had a career for a very long time. You have a lot of energy where you could do something with teaching or with children. So I wouldn't be surprised if you had something within that realm. But then there's this piece of you that since Dad's passing and experiencing all of this, your angels have been kind of calling on your heart that you can move in a different direction. And they're prefacing this with another piece. When I first started doing this work, Spirit said, watch. It was like something on YouTube or some documentary, and I haven't been able to find it. But basically, the gist of what it said was that healers in all different parts and regions of the world typically aren't doing that full time. Many healers are healers on the side and then have their full time day job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just brought me so much ease at the time when this wasn't my full-time business and I had to work on the side. And so what they're saying, because I think some people can get this confused, right? Like if Spirit is saying you're a healer, then you just have to drop your career and you just have to like go become a healer. And they're like, no, there's something within you that wants to bring more of that energy that you experienced during your dad's passing and feeling him into this world. And what they want you to know, because there's another part within you, this egoic mind guy, that's very fear filled of even exploring that option. And they said, we need you to just be okay with the exploration part. We need you to be okay looking at it, considering what that might be. Because I have to tell you, Sharyn, you hold this yummy, yummy, delicious oneness energy constantly. Like I feel it radiating off of you. And you have a gentleness to your essence as a soul. And you have this beautiful warmth, right? And it's meant to serve others here. So, with all that said, kind of talk to me a little bit about what it is that you do now and what you've kind of been toying with.
Okay. So I'm a photographer,
Uh huh.
and I photograph people, and I do portraits and weddings, and I do all kinds of stuff. But what I deal with every day is people who come to me and don't really love themselves.
Yeah.
And they want a beautiful picture, and they have this whole thing, and sometimes they're not even sure why they booked the session with me. And so when I do that, I found that I really have to bring people to be okay with themselves and pull like that, which they kind of have back down in here, out to the camera. So I can see it in their eyes. Cause when I just see so much when I look into their face. So, and they don't know, right? They're on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So most people anyway, and then others are very not that way. And we're just having a good time, right? We're just having a good time. And I love being creative. I love making beautiful pictures. And I started doing these like double exposures after Dad passed and another person in my life passed, where I just wanted to capture like the soul of somebody. So I started these soul portraits. I also teach photography and dance on the side to kids.
Get out of here. Yay. I was like, where does this
like
kid
a little
piece come
part-time
in?
thing?
Yes.
Part-time. And then one Sunday a month, I teach Bible study to kids because I'm like, who's teaching them love?
Right.
This is an important subject. It's my favorite subject, love.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Okay.
Okay. So a couple of different things. As you were saying that they were bringing kind of in more info, you could have something that's tied into your photography business with this self-love piece. Okay. Think about it like this. Somebody books a session with you, photography session, and they say, Sharyn, what do I do to prepare for my photography session? And you go, okay, go over to my website, download this video, and then download this meditation. And I want you to watch both before you come that day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that video could be, that video is going, your dad just said, that video is going to come through you. It's going to be channeled through you. So I don't want you to worry about what to say. I just want you to almost write down, channel with the angels and write down what they want you to say. And then almost you could even read it, right? And as you're reading it, your dad's like, she's a channeler. Tell her she's a channeler, which means that as you're reading it, other things are going to come through. And so don't be afraid to interject. You don't have to read it all verbatim. You can interject different points and then go back to the script. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So it's almost like a 1-hour course on how to love yourself. And you can even, so I've worked with all different photographers throughout my life, even before this, in event planning and marketing communications. And there are good photographers out there that will show you like the right poses in order to get good angles. And you could even show them some of those angles in, and I would even do something where if you go to Fiverr, you could have somebody edit this for maybe like $65, $100. But when they edit it, they could flash like, you think you look good when you're posing like this, but if you pose like this, look at how the photos turn out. Because some of the things that I've done with photographers myself is they'll be like, pose like this, and you're like, this feels uncomfortable and awkward and weird. And then I look at the photos afterwards and they're the best photos ever. Right? So you really have to listen to the photographer that's directing with you. Yes. But people's egoic minds get in the way, and you can kind of help your session, photography session, by just showing them, when you think you look good like this and I'm telling you to do this, this is what the photography looks like afterwards. This is what you're going to want. So you can try practicing that beforehand.
I love it.
Yeah. Friends, what if there was nothing stopping you from becoming abundant to the max in all things? Finances, time, nothing was holding you back from becoming your healthiest, happiest, most financially abundant self yet. Friends, thanks to our annual and monthly angel members, we've been able to grant over $100,000 in partial scholarships so that souls who want access to life-changing teachings in the angel membership have that opportunity. And we have more partial scholarships to give. Don't let your egoic mind tell you that you're not worthy, because the angels and I are here telling you, you are worthy. This is your year. But I can't help you get where you're going if I'm not working with you in one of my programs. Become an angel member now. go to theangelmedium.com, then the Angel Membership tab to sign up. If you need a scholarship, let us help you. Scroll to the bottom of the Angel Membership page and click the link for partial scholarship options. Links are in the show notes. And thank you. Thank you for coming together as a community. Thank you for contributing what you can each month. And thank you for helping us reach hundreds of deserving souls with life-changing teachings in the Angel Membership this year. This is going to be your best year yet. You can also do a visualization meditation that they could listen to as well. And that could be at the end of this, or it could be separate, where you have them visualize feeling their most confident, feeling love, right? And then also feeling worthy, feeling valuable. But then also visualizing getting the photos back and just almost having like tears coming down their face because they say these are some of the best photos I've ever taken in my life, right? So it just kind of helps put them in the right energetic state to be ready for the photo shoot.
And ready to do the photos after, because that's
right.
That might be a whole nother video.
Okay. So here's the other piece to this. Okay. And these are just standalone products that you can have ready to go. Those two can be automated very easily.
Yep.
Now, your dad is adding on this next piece.
Okay, Dad.
He says that you could have a course on loving yourself, on self-worth, on what you have learned as a photographer over the years about what it takes. Because you know what your dad just whispered in your ear?
What?
He goes, people don't even know what it looks like, feels like, or what it is in your day-to-day to truly love yourself. And he said, you have that information. And so if you created like, it could be a 4-week course, it could be an 8-week course, it could be, 8 20-minute videos, 4 20-minute, whatever it is. I don't like to say my teaching videos have to be this much time, because Spirit is just going to come in and bring in what they need to bring in. And I need to allow that and not a time limit. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So if you had this course afterwards where people are just naturally going to say to you in the photo session, I really loved that you had these 2 videos. It got me ready for this. You could have an automated email set up afterwards to say, thank you so much for your session. This is what I love to do. I love empowering people to love themselves. If you would like to learn more, here's my online course that you could take, and then sell it as a standalone piece. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay.
I like it.
Yes. All right. He keeps talking about your sister. Talk to me about what's been going on with her.
I think she really struggles with loving herself. Yeah. She works for me now. And there's I just feel a presence right now. So I just had to just stop for a second. There have been things in the past that have happened between my sister and I that I don't know like what's going on with her exactly, what made her to do those things. Some of it wasn't very nice, and I think there's just a heaviness. That's all I have to say, a heaviness. And she's a prime example of somebody who, when I look at them, I want them to love themselves. Yeah.
I don't want to be a person or a healer that just excuses other people's bad behaviors. At the same time, 2 things can be truth. at once.
Yes.
And your dad, he's not revealing all of it, because if somebody doesn't want something revealed, like if she doesn't want something revealed, I can't access it. But he said there's things in her past that you don't know about that is why she's done what she's done and why she is where she's at today. And he said, if you knew, you would have so much compassion and empathy, and you do right now, but he wants you to see it through that lens.
Okay.
But do you see how spirit like piggybacks messages that correlate with one another? Because what he just said is that as you create these videos on loving yourself and self-worth, it's actually going to encourage her to take steps. And sometimes when we have some bigger things that have happened in our past, we actually have to take more micro steps, right? Because going too fast can create a psychological disconnect, and that's okay. But one baby step at a time. Your dad has said this 5 times. What she experienced and where she's at is not the place that she's going to be the rest of her life. She is here to work through this in order to help other people with this as well. So as she does her healing work, you both could create something. It could be individually separate, but you have similar messages to bring forth within this world. Yeah.
That makes sense. And when you asked her about her, I just felt like there was something here and I couldn't get a handle on it. So I didn't know what words to tell you, but I could sense there was something there. That makes sense that if she doesn't want it revealed, it's not revealed.
Yeah. And that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. Yep.
I have to tell you that your dad is so close to your mom's energy. She was just the love of his life, as close as we can get to a soulmate. And she's not going anywhere anytime soon, but he is with her even more so than I see loved ones with people just constantly. It's truly as if he never leaves her side. Sometimes you'll get this energy of your dad is with you particularly, and yet he'll go off and do some things and come back. He has designated a piece of his soul to be next to her, where he'll always just be that presence that you've been talking about feeling right here. And so talk to her too and ask her if she feels that. Your dad's so cute. He says she's very old school, but she's starting to open to more spiritual concepts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's pretty cool to talk to dad about this, because on the other, and dad was here, he was open,
Yeah.
but he wasn't, we could, he just would probably put his hands up like, well, I just don't know, and I think it's so cool that like now he knows.
Well, it's so funny because they come through with different messages, each of them. And he is looking at your mom, and then he takes me back where I get this vision of them. And you know how you're talking about earlier, you can feel it all at once. It's telepathic language. So he's showing me them when they first met and their 20s and their 30s. And he goes, Julie, I was not a fun person. I was not enjoying my life. And he said, Mom made me enjoy my life. Like his wife made him, your mom made him enjoy his life. And he goes, she was just so fun. So fun.
Yep.
And
I think that of him too. When he was in a good place, dad was I didn't realize how much we laughed.
Yes.
So
Those are the times that he
Yeah.
wants you to remember. There's some times where your egoic mind brings in the dementia and those times, and he like X's that out, crosses that out, sends that energy away, and he's like that fun, that laughter, focus. So redirect your thoughts back to that. The other thing I got to tell you, Sharyn, is he said, I know that you worry about dementia running in the family, but it's not going to be a concern in your lifetime. Okay? Yeah. So we do all of the things. I'm not a doctor, right? And you still like do all of the things and take care of yourself. But he said it's not for you to worry about in this lifetime. Okay.
Okay. Said.
Yeah. I just want to thank you so much for this time together, Sharyn. You're an amazing soul and you're on an amazing mission. And I'm so excited to just see what you're able to do.
Yeah, I am too. I very much have enjoyed this. So thank you, Julie, for your time and your expertise.
Yes. Beautiful soul, thank you so much for joining me today. My name's Julie. You know I'm all about connecting you with messages from your angels and loved ones on the other side. If you've been listening today and you're super excited and just have to know which angels are around you right now, who's connecting with you, and what messages they have for you, go to theangelmedium.com. Register for a session. You can do a reading with me or a member of my team, and we can help you in making sure that your angels are doing the very best they can to support you and guide you to your best life. If this sounds like you, virtual sessions, they're only offered on my website. Sign up today. And if you're the person who's really excited, you can sign up for my Angel Reiki School to become a certified angel messenger. That's for the healers among us who feel called to grow their intuition to the max and serve humanity with their gifts. You'll learn Reiki, mediumship, how to deliver angel messages, and how to get clients. That's the Angel Reiki School at theangelmedium.com or DM me on Instagram at Angel Podcast with any questions. Before you go, connect with your angels by placing your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath. Imagine a doorway filled with God's unconditional love is right in front of you. Step into that love and feel it as it fills your body, chakras, and auric field. Now ask your angels, what would you have me know today? And open yourself to the positive, loving messages they have just for you.